Hey guys, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I intended to create a cute Game of Thrones Mother's Day video yesterday, but I didn't end up finishing the video on Sandor's horse Stranger until I woke up on the couch real late last night after UFC 211. But it's pretty funny how the universe works sometimes. This morning, I read a comment from Maja Boskovich on the Sansa Theory Part 1 video. Her comment indirectly relates to motherhood. The comment addresses one of the prime suspects that ratted out Sansa's first period to Cersei. This video is going to touch on stuff from all 5 books and all 6 seasons of the show, so please close out now if you aren't already caught up. I want to touch on 3 things: the issue that Maja raised, the connection that this scene has to the Sansa theory, and we will end the video with a quick Game of Thrones tribute to all the wonderful mothers out there. So first, let's take a look at Sansa's flowering. The flowering and the aftermath of it happened in a single chapter in Book 2, A Clash of Kings Sansa 4, and within a single episode of Season 2, Episode 7, A Man Without Honor. If you don't recall, Sansa freaks out when she has her flowering, because it means that they may start telling Joffrey to make evil little lion cub wolf pups with her. On back of the Sansa Part 1 video, Maja made a good point. That video spoke about the connection between Sansa and Sandor, yet in the show, they make it seem like the Hound told Cersei that Sansa had her period, and if he did that, that was not that cool. I don't think he did though. I think it was deceptive editing. They show him at the end of the scene in her room, and then they cut to the scene with Cersei lecturing Sansa. So I hear you, Maja, it's suspicious. It makes it seem like the Hound told Cersei. But I think 2 other candidates are more likely. A handmaiden had seen her and ran off to tell Cersei. Shae threatened her life, but if I had to bet, I'd put my money on this girl. I think she told Cersei anyway. A third option, aside from the Hound or the handmaiden, is Varys. Possibly, Shae told Varys off screen, and he secretly told Cersei. I can't recall any evidence for this, but I don't think it's too far-fetched. If any of you can shed light as to who is the rat from stuff we learn in later episodes, please let us know in the comments section. But I don't think it was a Hound, so I don't think the scene takes away from the Sansa theory. In fact, I think his presence there, after her flowering, is actually further proof of the Sansa theory. It happens slightly differently in the books, but there's still a connection between Sandor and Sansa during this scene. So in Clash of Kings Sansa 4, the Hound is chatting with Sansa about the riot. If you don't recall, he saved her life, and she finally thanks him for doing so. Then she falls asleep and has a nightmare about the riot. In the nightmare, the people stab her in the stomach and she starts bleeding. She then wakes up and finds out that she's had her period. In the show, her and Shae try turning over the bed to hide it, but in the books it's cooler. She grabs her sheets and throws them into the fire. Then she realizes that the blood soaked through to her feather bed, so she grabs that too and tries to burn it in the fireplace. It's too big for the fireplace, so only half of it fits in. She's on her knees trying to push the rest of it into the fire, and the room starts filling up with smoke. Quote, "In the end, it took 3 of them to pull her away, and it was all for nothing. The bedclothes were burnt, but by the time they carried her off, her thighs were bloody again. It was as if her own body had betrayed her to Joffrey, unfurling a banner of Lannister crimson for all the world to see." And coincidentally, as today is Mother's Day, the very next scene in both the book and the show is Cersei giving her some motherly advice.
Less messy. Wait until you birth a child.
Notice that she calls Sansa Little Dove here.
Permit me to share some womanly wisdom with you on this very special day. Love no one but your children. On that front, a mother has no choice.
Shouldn't I love Joffrey, Your Grace?
You can try, little dove.
It's not the only time she uses that term, but it might be a subtle hint to Sansa's connection with Sandor.
You won't hurt me.
No, little bird, I won't hurt you.
And in the books, Cersei's dialogue might hint at something else, namely, a leading contender for the Valonqar. Quote, "I see flowering hasn't made you any brighter," said Cersei. "Sansa, permit me to share a bit of womanly wisdom with you on this very special day. Love is poison, a sweet poison, yes, but it will kill you all the same." So yeah, today's Mother's Day, so it only seems fitting to share a few adorable clips from the loving mothers in A Game of Thrones.
I came to say goodbye to Bran.
You've said it.
I want you to leave.
It's what the Lord wants. It's a good thing.
Lord of Light, show us the way!
Mother, please!
Side note, while making the Hound's Horse Stranger video yesterday, I had to go find a bunch of clips of Arya and the Hound. Right before one of those clips, there was a line that Melisandre said to Gendry.
Why do you think the Gold Cloaks wanted you? There is power in a king's blood.
That line reminded me of another line.
Power resides where men believe it resides.
Now my brain works in weird ways. The two concepts led me to think of a really cool new theory related to Davos and Jon Snow. I'm sure there are wizards out there who have considered this theory already, but I've never seen it. So I think this may be new for a lot of us, myself included. Those are the only hints I'm going to give you though. It'll be the next video I put out either before or after the Leftovers episode 5 breakdown, so hit subscribe if you want to see that. As always, a huge thank you to Bridge 4 sponsors. I got a pop-up this morning that Bajingo wants to be the first Bridge 4 co-producer. Thanks Bajingo. A couple nights ago, I only slept an hour after I got the first pop-up from Lauren. I was just overwhelmed by her kindness, and as I was laying there, I got a pop-up from Frank over at the Way Off Topic Radio. I then spent the next 3 or 4 hours listening to the podcast with him and his co-host Chris. Then the following day, more people joined Team Bridge 4. I ended up sleeping only 2 hours that night. That's why I was MIA for a couple days. I was delusional. I ended up calling my mother to vent in a good way. And for the record, when I got the pop-up from you today, Bajingo, I called her again, smiling ear to ear, but I guess she's too busy for me. She texted me back and said she'd call me later. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. She won't see this for a while since she still hasn't started watching the show, but eventually I'll show her this video. So this one goes out to you, Mom. I love you.